So I had this brilliant idea that I was going to make my own DIY light kit, right? And so I had these like shitty lights, and they were all hooked into these like pedals. Like I got these push pedals. It was for Christmas trees, right? So you can turn your lights on and off with Christmas trees. So I had these like pedals, and I would step on them and turn the lights on with the music, right? Well,
how
the only
fast do you have to
was,
move your feet for that? That's crazy.
Oh, he's not
You're over there like tap dancing.
well, there was like a you should see me, bro. You
should
see me, bro. They call me Crazy Legs, dude. So they,
That's true.
but then so Tony didn't. Bless his heart, he plugged right into my lights.
I think
and so
I
every
plugged
time,
him in.
or whoever, but whenever I pressed one of the lights, his bass cut out.
Welcome to the 42nd episode of the Cast That Ends Creation. I'm your host, Chris Deering. This is the show where I interview mathcore adjacent bands and public figures. If you beautiful people in chat have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in. I'll try to read them aloud. If you'd like to sub, you get access to some exclusive emotes, as well as access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and streaming websites. If you'd like to subscribe, you can also subscribe for $5. And for $5, you get access to the interviews before they hit streaming services. I am a mess. And you can also subscribe for free by attaching your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. It's like taking $5 from Jeff Bezos, putting it into my pocket. If you're watching this on YouTube, listening to this in your car, you have no idea what I'm talking about. The show is first shown live on Twitch. Join us every Sunday and Wednesday at twitch.tv/thecastThatEndsCreation for the live cast. With that out of the way, let me introduce our guest tonight who dropped their absolutely banger of a debut before and after back in January. Welcome in Auteur. Am I saying that correctly? Is it Auteur?
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah,
Auteur.
that's right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Alrighty. Why don't y'all introduce yourselves and tell everybody what you do?
Yeah, sure. Well, first off, we just want to thank you, Chris, for having us on.
Yes.
And like checking out the album and just picking our brains. It's amazing, and what you're doing for the scene, man. Like it's really, really rad. Like
I appreciate it, man.
If bands and podcasters could work together and pump each other up, I mean, we're just gonna pump everything up. But my name is Scott, and I am the lead vocalist for Auteur.
I am Logan. I play guitar. I do the background vocals.
I'm Max Mars, and I play drums.
Alrighty, so you guys picked a very non-Google friendly name. Auteur. There's a ton of bands actually named Auteur, or like the Auteurs or whatever. Am I even saying that right? Is it Auteur?
It is Auteur, yes.
Yeah,
Auteur. Okay.
Like, your
but
command of the English language is as good as mine, so I don't know.
So why did you guys pick that name?
I can tell the story. Actually, before we go on, real quick, we do have two other members in the band that are not here with us today. We have Tony the Kid on bass.
Tony the Kid.
And we have TJ. Yeah, yes. And we have TJ on second guitar as well. TJ the adult. I don't, it's. I'll make a long story short about, or I'll attempt to on how the name came about. Essentially, back in 2014, I did a EP with a producer named Gus Krenz, R.I.P. Gus. And back then, I was looking for somebody to play the music with me. I needed some help, and so I went to my good friends that I knew that were out here. One of them being Logan. And a couple other guys, and we ended up playing under the name of the Earth. Over the years, we played for a couple of years, and we wanted to take the music to the next level and kind of like reinvent the wheel of our band, I guess you could say, and reinvent the band. And so we came up with the name change. We started to play with that name, and then the band broke up. And there's more to the story. But I'm going to stop it there. But to go back to Auteur, essentially, Auteur is a film term. We work in the entertainment industry. Like me personally, I'm a huge film buff, film nerd. And I guess I thought that it looked cool, that the name looked cool, and
I mean, this is
pretentious as fuck. So
it's a very. Scott was like, "Hey, I want to call the band Auteur," and I think it's I forget what I was listening to recently, but they were talking about like improv groups, that every improv group, the name that they end up with is not the name they like, it's the name that they all hated the least. But when Scott said, "Hey, let's do Auteur," I was like, "Hey, it's short. It starts with A. That's great." I think it sounds like I think it doesn't necessarily have a ton of baggage to it yet. A lot of people aren't even sure what the word is, and it looks kind of neat. So I think it's like truly an aesthetic choice.
Yes.
I think a lot of bands I loved just had names that were aesthetic choices. So I felt like, this is better than trying to endlessly find something that I feel really attached to. So yeah. It's a
Speaking of
cool
band
word.
names, how many of them can you actually read anyways? Like, it's all logo based.
Well, that's the funny thing is you can read this one, but you can't
Yeah.
pronounce it. Perfect.
There you go. Yeah.
That's true. Very
But there was a band in the 70s called the Auteurs, but I mean, other than that, I think there's an electronic music outfit that it has.
I mean, I
Oh, I
imagine
googled your name. There's a lot actually.
I imagine there's tons.
Well, it's also a film term, like Stanley Kubrick or David
Yeah, for
Lynch.
sure.
They're auteurs. So
Yeah.
So you talked about it a little bit about how y'all got together, but how did y'all solidify everything?
Yeah, it is a long story, but to talk about the five of us that are together now and have been for a while. It was basically Scott and I for a minute, and initially we had our drummer, Scott's friend, and eventually our friend Travis Wynand, helped us to track the first. Well, actually, he helped track more than what ended up on the album, but the 5 or 6 tracks that he has on the album, he helped us with initially, and then we played a show. Things kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
But at that show,
at the show, yeah.
yeah, we met our good friend Adam Bedlato and PJ.
Adam.
Yeah, Adam. And they just came up and talked to. It was so this show.
Yeah, you got to tell about the show,
Is
dude.
it possible to tell this story in any short manner?
It's convoluted.
This show was for the showing of the Misery Signals documentary. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't. I didn't even know they did one.
Yeah,
really good,
it's really great. It's sort of about Carl coming. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, not Carl, the original vocalist. I'm sorry.
Other
But
guy,
yeah, him coming back into the fold. It's really wonderful. It's worth watching. But we played a set before it. It was very interesting. It was a lot of fun. And
It
through
was the first auteur show.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
And
It's a debut show, yeah.
And through that, we met these two really great dudes who came up and said hello afterwards. And then through them, met Max. And initially, we tried the five of us playing, and it didn't work out 100%. But Max stuck around, and then we ended up bringing in Tony, who Tony played in Of the Era. Tony played in everything. Mass is Scott's.
Yeah, I've played with Tony. He's just a rock, dude. He's solid. He's the nicest guy on the planet. Yeah, he rules.
Amazing person.
But he's just been. He's played guitar. He's played bass. Whatever we needed. He's always been there. And
why do you call him Tony
TJ's
the
a
Kid?
guitar.
Just like a term of endearment.
He's, Tony. Okay, well, he's not here. I don't.
Hey, he's not
but
here. Means you can talk all the shit you want.
He's like, well, no, he's like heavy. Okay, well, and actually, in the band itself, there's a through line of like Logan and Tony fucking love wrestling, dude. Love professional wrestling, and Tony has that. He has a persona. He has his own like wrestling persona, kind of as the kid. So he wears sunglasses at night. He's just the coolest cat, man. Nothing phases him, man.
Yeah,
Good guy.
And then Scott, how did you meet? How did you know TJ? I know through work, but did you know him before that?
I actually know TJ through my brother, so he's younger than all of us, which is funny. So he should be the kid, but so I know TJ through my younger brother, and when TJ moved out here to LA, I met him then, and then we kind of collaborated on some stuff, and then it turns out that he played in fucking screamo bands for most of his life, so I was like, shit, join the band, bro.
Alrighty, nice.
Yeah, and he's great.
And
wonderful person as well.
The thing is, yes, a wonderful person. But the thing is like the band, it's been a revolving cast of characters for years. And then we finally got this solid lineup, everybody loving, each other's presence, having a good time. And then the fucking pandemic hit. So,
yeah. So basically we got this nice solid lineup and spent about, I don't know what, 3-4 months slowly getting it, because everyone has a job. We meet once a week to practice, so it's like old man band where you're really just slowly getting it going.
Yeah.
But then
we're old, bro.
Truly, right before the pandemic, the ball was going. We finally
we had a big show coming up that we were excited about. We were going to play with Meth.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
And,
would have been.
I saw
yeah,
the flyer
been
for
awesome.
that, and now
I
it
know,
got
dude. And
canceled.
we were
Like, that
dude, we
sucks.
were like, here it is. It's like, finally, somebody's gonna see our fucking band. And
Yeah,
oh well,
that's how,
sucks,
that's
man.
how it
what
goes.
can you do, man? How many bands can say the same thing though?
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Every single one of them.
So, what are
Yeah.
some of your current influences? To me, like Every Time I Die in the Chariot, and you were telling me in messages like Under Oath and Poison the Well. Is that about right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of between Scott and I. We love a lot of the same stuff, but we just go in different directions. Like we both grew up on, probably initially new metal, right? Butt rock, all that kind of stuff. But then
Are you admitting to this, Logan, on
hey man,
live on the internet?
how old was I? 11 years old and
No, I know, but I
but
openly
point
admit it.
point
This
being
is a
like
revelation.
point being like I think we both found metalcore
Yes.
and the things kind of, screamo, post-hardcore, all that kind of stuff. That's what really connected with me. And that's where that's the stuff that I still listen to. And I think it's the same for Scott. But I would say, Scott, you're way more into like the Under Oaths and the more post-hardcore stuff. You like a lot more of the big anthemic choruses, right?
Yeah, I would say just like this is a bottom line with the band, and maybe you can hear it in the music, is that really like Logan and I, we're the primary writing forces on the record, and we have very different music tastes. Now, like some of it, crosses over. There's a lot of crossover with Every Time I Die, obviously, in the Chariot and stuff like that, Daughters and stuff like that. But we truly go completely separate on a lot of things, and it's a lot of fun to hang out and go through the music. But like I definitely have I definitely grew up with pop punk, and I attached to the catchy stuff a little bit more than Logan maybe in some cases. But
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think that we pick and choose. But I think also which is interesting is Max has a interesting background as well.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want me to speak about that?
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be
it doesn't really contribute too much to the record, but basically I play music for kids, so it's kind of funny to be playing music for little kids
Really?
all day, and then
Yeah.
at night, be playing pretty heavy stuff. So,
What do you
it's
play
nice-
for kids, like nursery rhymes and shit, or?
All of it. You got
All of it, baby.
ABCs, you got Wheels on the Bus.
What?
No, it's
Oh,
it,
dude.
it's
Dude, this
a group.
kid- He
I don't know if I can really
kills
say the
Wheels
name,
on the Bus.
but it's true. I will say I did actually play Wheels on the Bus at the Palladium, so.
Hey, not many
What?
people can say that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
That's my big
understand.
claim.
So, are you like a kids like you make kids music for like a living or something?
No,
or-
I play for a band that plays music for kids, so I'm one of the guys that plays for their band.
What is it?
So,
Like, is it a band I would know?
I forgot to check if I could say it or not, but it's a pretty
Well,
big
then
kids band.
don't say it, but
Yeah.
we'll say it afterwards or whatever. But yes, I don't think you've heard of them unless you
Yeah.
have a child.
But they do have a
Okay.
TV show coming out, so you'll see that.
So
soon.
you should know soon. But Max, what about like
I won't
what
be
are
on
your
it, though, but-
what are your drumming influences, Max?
Oh, my drumming influence. Yeah. It's kind of all over the place. Like I grew up loving everything. I started into punk, and then like these guys got into kind of some new metal, maybe some screamo, then metalcore, hardcore, post-hardcore, and before I knew it, I loved everything. And I'm kind of more of a session drummer, so there's nothing I don't like playing. But it was so fun coming in on this album because, like they said, they wrote so much of this album, and Logan wrote like pretty much all the drum parts, and it's really rare to come in as a drummer and somebody like, hey, you can do whatever you want here, and me be like, well, I want to do what you did because I think this is awesome, and then
Right.
just putting my little tweaks here or there. But like for the most part, like Logan fucking killed it on this, and I'm like, why? I'm not the kind of guy that's like, I need to go and put all my own parts there. I want what's best on there, and I think Logan did an amazing job, and the way that you guys brought this together, it really was fun to come into, and it's been a big pleasure the whole time. Super fun.
he's too sweet.
How do
Also,
you write
I-
drum parts? Do you like did you like do them like
Mhm.
MIDI or something first? Or?
Yeah. In order to, get my riff ideas down, I, want to have drums there. So I'll do MIDI drums. And then with Max especially, we figured out the groove. You know how it always goes. You figured out the groove at like the last 10% or whatever. But
Sure.
I take that MIDI and bring it into Guitar Pro, I think, or whatever it is, and convert it into sheet music or charts or whatever it is that
Okay.
you'd call it for a drummer. Just because Max, like you say, is a session drummer, he's very used to a lot of more formal stuff. So in this case, it ended up working out really well that I could just take this MIDI that I already had for what I was already doing and, pretty quickly give him something that he could take with him and learn and play along to the tracks with. So
Yeah, and when you're working with so many different time signatures and some polyrhythms that are not clashing but overlapping, and there's so much going on there where it's like it takes away so much of the headache and speeds up the process. And honestly, it's like I've done that before where I've recorded stuff for people where they've programmed drums, and it's like, dude, no human is ever gonna play this thing, like, unless you let me change a thing.
Yeah, it's like written for an octopus.
Yeah, it's like I only got 2 arms and 2 legs.
I don't know, man. Have you heard Fleshed Out Apocalypse? I think that guy has 8 arms.
He might.
Octopocalypse.
So Scott and Logan, y'all are saying that y'all are like the big writers of the band. How do y'all start with an idea? Do y'all just like bring in things and throw things at the wall, see what happens, or do y'all write full songs and bring them into the band? Or
what's crazy, and this goes down to, like, I guess how I think about writing my end of stuff or my part of stuff is, like, I always, it's like the cliche thing where it's like every song is its own thing, right? It's its own baby, it's its own child, and you got to do what's best for the song. And actually, like, that's a super loaded question, because I feel like every song on this record had a different, like, way that it was created. And actually, if you don't mind, if you want to, like, ask specifically about certain songs, it would probably be better to talk about that.
So my favorite thing about you guys is, like, the hooks that happen in between the like crazy grooves and such. My favorite one is probably from Strawman. Like, I've got lessons to learn, you've got witches to burn, not one wicked word. Yeah, that's my favorite hook that you guys do.
Brad,
I guess tell us how that was created.
Well, the song itself, you started with, right?
I think that was pretty much written all the way
because I remember, and you can elaborate on this, but that was our Misery Signals song. That was like,
I mean, that's like, it's hard. Everything's such a loaded question. The first, like, half of this album, the first half that, like I said, our friend Travis helped us on drums. I mean, honestly, the album's called Before and After for a million reasons. One of them being that it really is, like, not only is it 2 different drummers, it's like 2 different philosophies, or a lot of different philosophies. But, like, with Strawman, I was very much in the mindset of, and with a lot of the songs from the first half, kind of paying homage to what we grew up with, what we loved, what made. I mean, Scott and I constantly just talked about, like, what makes you feel like you're 16? What makes you feel like you're hearing this for the first time?
Yep.
Because
Strawman is our high school, like, remembrance song for sure.
It's very bright. It's very, like, it has, heavy parts, but not overall. It's just altogether a brighter song. But in general, with all these songs, I always was trying to write to give Scott space, because that's not necessarily something I was used to doing. So it was like a new fun puzzle to solve. And I mean, Chokehold, or that's what it was originally called.
Yeah, it was called Chokehold. Yeah.
Strawman is just nothing but space for Scott. It was like, let's do one where you can really dig into more of this, like, open, wide field. You can just yell over top of it.
And I remember the lyrics themselves. So during the writing process of the record we've been it has been in production, I guess you could say, for like 4 or 5 years.
Forever.
It's been forever.
I was gonna say, if you're using your old drummer, I guess it has to be super old then.
Yeah. And so, and I remember, and not to go too deep into it, but during the process of creating the record, writing the record, there was like a group of personal tragedies that we went through between Logan and I, just like at the same time.
Yeah,
and we contemplated, like, I mean, we almost were forced to stop the band and just, give up the things that we love. And when we got through those hurdles, decided to keep the band going, even if it was just going to be us 2. And we started writing again. I remember writing Strawman after that and dealing with a lot of personal regret. And I think that song is about, wishing things were the way they used to be, but you just can't do that. And then somebody, comes up and says, they're pointing the finger at you, and you get defensive about it. And you're like, bro, like, get out of my face. Like, I'm just trying to figure things out. You know, I might have made some mistakes in my life, but I'm doing the best that I can. And that's really the vibe that I was going for in that.
Well, that's really cool that like y'all can actually channel like real life experiences into this. A lot of people like me, for instance, I just write like fucking stories or whatever, you know, like
That's great.
I don't have like an actual like, you know, it's not like something from my life or whatever, but y'all being able to bring in like actual like emotional pain and hardship into your songs, like it's really powerful stuff. It makes it seem hit a lot harder for me now, knowing that, you know, this is stuff that y'all actually went through.
Well, and I think that Logan writes from that place, like where his music, and he does a fair amount of the lyrics on. He wrote a fair amount of the lyrics on the record as well. But you know, he writes from that place as well. But like, especially when I'm writing lyrics, you know, going back to influences, like I'm a huge Anthony Green fan. Like I love Anthony Green. And I have always been amazed at how he can write songs that like make you feel so much, and you can, but like it's also kind of nebulous, right? It's like kind of like ethereal out there. There's concepts more or less than just telling you directly what's going on, and that's what I've always tried to do or wanted to try and do, is like leave some room for interpretation. And yeah, I mean, and like truly every song on this record has a different story and it has a different idea in it.
Well, one of the ones that I was a little bit was a little unsure about what the actual message was the one you actually did your video for Old House.
Aha.
I'm gonna be showing the video while we're talking about this. Oh, this is actually gonna be
Sure.
super loud. 1 second, guys.
I mean, we'd love to talk about the video and the song.
Yeah, it might be good. Okay, so yeah, the lyrics make it sound like hold on, where am I? Yeah, the lyrics make it sound like it's about feeling like your father thinks you're kind of throwing your life away. But at the end of the video, the dude's like getting in a coffin. Actually, I guess the dude's you. Get in the coffin, like that his like dad's gone or something. He's feeling bad that his dad's gone or something. I'm not 100% sure. So, well, what's this one about?
I mean, Scott, you wrote the lyrics for this, but I feel like I keep summarizing this, and you seem happy when I do. So
Yes.
I'll say Scott wrote these lyrics 100%, and I always read them as, I don't know, like standing on the precipice and being terrified of making all the same mistakes, or even being scared to walk off. Like this song very much to me felt like Scott, or the character, you know, however personal it is, saying that, you know, I don't want what you had, and I'm terrified that that's where I'm going to end up, and the things that you had planned for me, the things that you think I should do, feel like a trap. Like I don't want to end up trapped. So the video is sort of like he has this blueprint for a house, seemingly, that, you know, maybe it's old, so let's assume that it has been around for a minute. Maybe it was his father's initial house plans or whatever. So like the idea is to implant this I don't know, duty of work. Like you have to see through the vision of whoever came before you and whatever hopes or expectations they had for you. But at the end of the video, we revealed that he didn't build a house. He built a coffin because he's done with this. He's not necessarily committing suicide or anything that dark, but symbolically, he would rather escape. And whatever escape that is, he'll take it instead of walking that same path.
And yeah. And I think
Yeah,
what's
that's
kind of
deep.
interesting about the whole thing, what is that, like, you know, I wrote from a whole different perspective, and it's so interesting. I love actually talking to Logan about the songs and the lyrics, because he actually brings up stuff that I didn't even intend for it. Like to me, like, yes, like kernels of that were in the writing process, but that's not what I wrote it about at all. But what's cool is that Logan took his interpretation of the song and built the video on top of it, and now it's like a you know, a cake. You know, it's got so many layers to it. But like, so Logan and I are originally from Indiana, so we're from, you know, the Midwest, and the song, middle of nowhere, and the song is very literally about people that stay in the Midwest and give into the life there. And there is a certain amount of, like, you know, resentment towards that, because that's how I grew up, you know, and there's like certain societal and familial aspirations that they want for you, and it just doesn't happen or whatever. It's like, it's definitely pushing back against the Midwest outcome or dream, I guess you could say. But there are some actual allusions in there to like my grandfather, for instance. Like the shotgun in a golf bag is real.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that. If
Yeah,
that
he
was
used to
real.
put his shotguns in a golf bag, or at least that's how I remember it. In his garage, he had a pull door, and I remember opening it up and seeing a bunch of guns with the golf clubs. So when I was writing this song, and I started from the front on this one and just went, because he had it pre-written basically, I think, and we sat down to listen to it. I was like, oh fuck, like I've got the perfect idea. And I started from the front and back and went all the way to the back and wrote all the lyrics that way, and it just worked out perfectly. And I feel like, you know, that song in particular, in Walking, but that song in particular is a great example of the collaboration that we got on this record, like true collaboration, where he brought the song, but I brought the lyrics, and then it became something else.
My biggest question regarding the video, though, what happened to the beard, man? You had this big epic beard going on.
Wait.
It's funny because it's not me, actually.
That's not you?
No, it's
what?
not me.
Dude, that looks just like you. Are you serious?
I know. Well, it's so funny because that's our buddy Fred. He's actually a commercial actor out here. You'll see him in Geico commercials. He's the voice of Ford, I think. I don't know. He's something like that, something of that nature. But he does a lot of like actual acting, believe it or not. He's an actual actor. We got a real actor, believe it or not.
Nice.
But it's so funny because in the past, I've actually worked with him in the past, and we had talked about him playing my dad. So
Dude, he looks
it's
just
not
like
the first
you.
time.
That's crazy. Okay.
It's not the first time. Scandinavian white guys with red beards, bro. It's just we all
It's become a blur at a certain point.
You should see TJ, bro. People think TJ's my brother too.
It is kind of shocking that three of us in this band have red facial hair.
It's true. It is shocking.
So
You know, I never even thought about that.
y'all.
Yeah, you're out, Max. Get your brown facial hair, bro.
So you guys recorded this all yourself?
Correct. In the room that Logan, in the studio that Logan is sitting in right now, the album was
Okay,
recorded.
so you got an actual studio. It's not just like a home setup.
It's a home setup, really, but it's I mean, we're in LA, so it's an apartment, but it's like whoever was here before did a very good job, so we were able to track drums here, and that's really like, I've been out in LA for a while now, and that really was like the thing that, I don't know, just made everything better, was being able to be loud again. Because you can go to a practice space and be loud for an hour or whatever, but to know that I could bring in Max, set everything up beforehand, and have him play for as long as we needed to, yeah, it just made it possible for us to try to do it ourselves. I'm happy with how it turned out, but you heard it took so long. So
one of the reasons why we wanted to take this long, though, too, is like that was a conscious choice, because at one point or many points we could have switched over and done digital drums. But early on in the process, Logan and I firmly decided that we wanted all the instrumentation on this record to be real. We wanted it to be real, in your face, and we wanted that live feel, and we wanted it to sound like how we would sound live.
Yeah, I mean, I specifically just really wanted to do acoustic drums. I really wanted to record, so.
Just wanted to give a little shout out to LeTrue Febreze in chat, who says your music video looks sick AF.
I saw that. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
bro.
Thanks.
So
Appreciate it.
Logan, you recorded and mixed it all, but then y'all sent it off to Alan, and I don't want to say his last name because I know I'm going to get it wrong.
Yeah, don't let me say it either.
So,
No, but yeah.
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure it's Douches, though. It's Douches, right?
Douches?
Yeah. It just looks bad.
It does. It looks very bad. But so this dude did Dillinger Escape Plan, Mastodon, and Converge, which I thought was weird because I figured Kurt Ballou would probably be doing his own mastering and stuff. But so why didn't y'all just master it yourself? Why send it off?
I mean, very specifically, I went to Alan because his name is in the back of almost every record I love. Like back when CDs were a thing, I have so many. I bought so many. I go through liner notes and I look at who mastered this, who mixed this. And yeah, with Kurt Ballou, he has a few people, I think, but he works with Alan constantly. So I figured, I mean, we weren't sure if we could do it or whatever, but once we reached out to Alan, we had him do our initial single, and he's just great to work with. He's really wonderful at his job and really chill. So yeah, we went back to him for the full length, and I asked him for multiple revisions, and then said, I think 1A sounds the best. So I just went back to his absolute initial run because he knew absolutely what he was doing. So I think for me, as you know, the guy mixing it and playing guitar, and like I was already running that risk of like you can't judge your own stuff properly. You're
Yeah.
gonna get in the muck of all of it. So at least having this final level of what would you call it, quality control, like
Yeah, it's
Alex.
another set
Yeah,
of
that's what I was
ears.
gonna say.
Yeah, and also like
Yeah.
it's another set of ears that I'm gonna trust over my own ears, and that was the biggest thing. I needed someone else to say this is done and this is what it sounds like, so that I could just go, okay, thank you, goodbye. Because if it was me mastering it as well, I don't know if we'd even be here. I might
Yeah.
still be working on it.
Right,
Who
right.
knows?
Logan's definitely a perfectionist. It's something that I admire about him because I am not. And that's, I mean,
takes
literally,
forever.
that's why this shit sounds so good. I mean, it's
Well, thank
because of
you.
that guy right there. Yeah.
But it
What can you
makes
say?
everything take forever. But yeah,
I know, but I mean, it was worth it. I think it was worth it. And like, COVID aside, we're just happy that it's out.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's been exciting getting it out there and having people react to it at all. Honestly, like Chris, you
Yeah.
reaching out, it made my day. Like as
Yeah,
Scott
man.
said, for real. Like I got on our Instagram after you had reached out, and I see Scott, reaching out to more. It's like every time someone says, "Hey, I'm into this," or "Hey, let's talk about this." I think, just as an independent band, you like get the energy again. You're like, all
Yeah,
right,
that
let's
gives
get back
us
to
fuel,
it.
man. Yeah, for sure.
So-
Well, honestly, like
truly.
y'all should be way bigger than this. Like, this is an extremely
appreciate
it,
good album.
but-
It's really, really good. Like, I can't
appreciate
believe
it.
that other outlets haven't picked it up. Like, it's insane.
Well, and we thank you again for helping us get it out there. That's the hard part is,
It
I mean,
is.
we're confident that people would like it if they heard it. It's just getting it in their hands, getting it in their ears. That's the hard part.
Right, that's the
Yeah.
hard part of navigating the whole music scene. Honestly, like just trying to figure out where you need to, like, what outlet you need to send your stuff to. You know what I mean?
Well, and like back in the day, I mean, back in the day pre-COVID, you could just, tour on it. You could just play some shows, and that's how we were. That's how we were planning to do it. That's how we wanted to do it. And then it came to a point where the record was done, and we're sitting here in quarantine, and it's like, hey, bro, like, should we put this out or not? We should probably just put this out. We need to do something.
How long were y'all sitting on it before you put it out?
Not terribly long.
Not in comparison to how long it took to actually make it.
Yeah. I mean, we finalized it at the end of 2020, and it was like, let's just pick a fun date and put it out. I mean, part of it is we're learning lessons, like in leading up to a record, what you need to do, how to promote it. Like we're running some Instagram ads and just doing stuff, just walking the path. You kind of learn what works and what doesn't. So hopefully the next go around, it's even better. But yeah, we still would love more people.
Well,
to
and
hear this
I
one
do
and push
think
as many people to this one.
Well, and I think with your podcast and Twitch show, we're definitely mathcore adjacent.
Oh no, you're mathcore, 100%, straight up.
You think so?
Yeah,
Okay,
y'all
well,
are like the chariot every time I
Ooh.
die. Definitely, y'all are mathcore.
I heard
Well, I think
100%.
we have a lot of other stuff in there too, which can make it hard to market.
Well, was it Hornbill that Chris you called post mathcore?
Yes, yeah, that's kind of the place
That's
you'd
literally
fall
what's
in,
been
yeah.
on our Instagram. It's what's been on our Instagram for a while. It's like, just call us
Post metalcore is what we do.
Oh, we were post
I put
metalcore. Whatever.
I put most post metalcore. Yeah. Somebody else wrote something funny at one point.
Oh, well, he told us that we had.
What did
like
he say?
Late,
I'm gonna
late
dig it
90s hardcore vibe. I mean, if he
No.
was telling me that. Oh, not that guy. Well,
There was another. Don't you remember? Like, I'll dig it up. You
he
go ahead.
totally.
Letru Fabrice in chat says, y'all have to be bigger. It's so fucking good, and even my friends who are way more into metalcore love it. Not gonna lie, this was my first metalcore album, and I pretty much fell in love.
Oh wow!
You guys turned someone
That's
onto a
a
whole
high
new
praise,
genre.
Well, and I
No,
think
it was-
in a way there's some bridge songs and some bridge moments that kind of like you start listening to Like a Wave and it's very emo, and then there's like some thrash in there somewhere. It's like it's like I don't know.
I think
Maybe
part
we
of
are a
it
gateway
is
band a
that
little
your
bit.
vocals aren't like super harsh like a lot of people's are. Yours are more like the yelly kind of scream.
Yes.
So that's easier to like go from I don't know, like an emo band or something into this rather than like into like deathcore or something like that.
Well, and there is some singing on the record as well.
Yeah.
Aggressive singing. I definitely. I mean, if I could be, I guess my two top vocalists inspirations for this record especially, or just in what I'm doing, definitely Anthony Green and definitely Josh Scoggin. from the Chariot. Like I love that guy. Like he's my favorite. I love his lyrics. I love his delivery. And also, it was a conscious decision to do the yell stuff to be able to do this longer because some screaming, you just you do a lot of that. If you do it wrong or whatever, you blow your vocal cords out. But I do feel like you can maintain this type. I feel like I can maintain this type of vocal styling a little bit longer as I age into attrition.
Yeah, I remember a couple takes that while Scott and I were working on vocals where he did it. It sounded so good, and then we come back like I think after a practice, full band practice where we play through the set 3 times, and he's like, "Dude, we have to get rid of this part." Or
I can't do it. Walking. That happened in walking, which I was like, I can't breathe, dude. I can't fucking breathe. You need to take this line away from me.
Yeah. But like that was another similar to the drums, another ethos or whatever. I mean, another restriction that we kind of put on it was minimal doubling, minimal harmonizing, especially single voice harmonizing, like Scott harmonizing with himself. We have a little bit here or there. We have some doubling here or there, but overall, we wanted to make sure that he can do this record live, that I can play this record. Like everything about it, I wanted it to be, like
organic.
going to shows back.
We just don't want to lie to anybody,
Well, I mean,
go
also
up there and press a button on a laptop. It's like that's not our band.
You just end up with a certain sound. It's more direct, and hopefully, kind of, the hope with this, as Le True Febreze is warming my heart with, is that we have these songs that are catchier and maybe lighter, easier to get into, and even the songs that have some heavier stuff have a lot of in points, but also hopefully it's not too candy coated. Hopefully it feels closer to the early aughts records that we grew up with, where they didn't even have the ability to make it candy coated. Unless you were on Tooth and Nail, you weren't getting tuned. I heard your real voice, and it's great. I love going back to earlier aughts records where everyone sounds like a full human.
It definitely feels like that. Not only did you do the production and stuff though, but you also did the music videos and the artwork and stuff, right, Logan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Reluctantly, I guess.
Now you know I got somebody else to mess with.
Tell them, talk about the art for the album, because that's interesting.
And we got it up on screen right now too.
Awesome. Yeah, Scott and I, we were looking around on Instagram for art that really spoke to us, and we found some stuff that was really wonderful, but in the timeline we were trying to reach at that point, and reaching out to artists, we just didn't hear back. So at a point it was like, let's try to make this happen with what we've got. And this song, or the cover specifically, is in reference to the song Walking, with the chorus that is, walking on water, drowning at the same time, using you for shelter, still burn you from the inside.
That's one of my favorite lines too.
Thank you so much. So it's like this duality of, you've got everything you want, or at least you thought you did, but it's not what you expect, and you're not prepared for it. So, you've got this wonderful idyllic cabin, but it's all going wrong. So,
well, in the artwork itself is 3D modeled, correct?
Oh well, yeah. I didn't model that cabin. I paid a.
What do you mean by 3D modeled?
So, I think it's like Turbo Squitter. There's a bunch of sites where you can go and pay money for a 3D model someone else has created. So I went and found a really nice cabin, bought it, brought it into Blender, and then did whatever lighting and stuff I needed to do. Output that, brought it into Photoshop, and finished it up to make it look all fancy.
Well, nice, man. It looks really freaking good, dude. Y'all's
Thank you so much.
The whole package, even your Bandcamp, it looks so professional, so sleek.
Thank you.
It's
all Logan,
awesome.
bro.
I mean, that's
people hit him up if you want.
You're. I don't know. I guess you just work for them, but semicolonscopy.com or .net.
That's
Sorry.
me. Yeah, that's just me.
You own the
my
company, or?
That's a good. I should start calling it a company.
You should.
It's just like a
LLC,
it's
bro.
like a
Tax
it's just
reasons.
like a weird name that I do work under. I don't know. If you go on Instagram, semiColonoscopy _ because someone got the real deal, or semiColonoscopy.net. Yeah, I have a little short film there that's like a minute and a half I did a year or two ago. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're, like Scott said, we're all out in Los Angeles. Scott works in television. I do like advertising stuff. So the music is like our escape. It's the hobby, it's the fun stuff. But then when
Yeah.
it comes time to like make the package to make it look nice, it's great because we have some of those skill sets already built in. So it makes everything take longer, obviously. But if you're in a pinch, it's really nice because then you can still get stuff out, still put stuff together. That said, it'd be great to work with more folks. It would have been great to be able to get an artist on board for this, and I think we're still, looking to do that.
Could happen in the
For
future. It just
yeah,
depends
and
on the
for merch and
project.
things
It
like
just
that. But
yeah.
yeah, it's still us figuring out all the pieces. So I don't know. I kind of feel like I did a bunch of stuff just to get it done, but but I appreciate it.
People seem to like it, so
No, very
that
much.
makes me happy. I mean, I'm a producer, so I'm like, fuck yeah, bro, this is great.
I was blown away when I saw the artwork. I was like, this is
I
the
think-
album that
I
we
think
just did?
I think it's
Damn.
fantastic. Yeah. So I mean,
It's so
I'm
good.
happy. I'm
I
like,
sent that to everyone. I'm like, check this out.
yeah, I think it looks great.
Thank you. I saw in the chat Vortex is asking about any tips or tricks for Bandcamp. I'm not sure. Yeah. I think the main here's the big thing for your background. Try to make it repeatable. You can Google some good stuff for that. You make it repeatable. You do a kind of dark background with some, I don't know, some little detail, not too much. And then yeah, I mean, Bandcamp tells you how to make everything the right size. That's really what it is. Just make sure all your stuff is high resolution and crisp.
Photoshop
No
is
low
helpful.
res. Yeah, Photoshop.
if you have access or any of those things.
There's some good like GIMPs free. Yeah.
Sorry, not to
So-
answer for Logan. He's the professional.
No,
I
you
know
should.
nothing.
You should be able to.
In terms of recording, is there like anything that really helped you guys out, like plugins and stuff like that?
Ooh. Well, I use Reaper. I really love Reaper as my DAW.
Reaper's the
What do
shit.
you
I
use,
like
Chris?
it. Yeah,
do
Reaper.
Do you use Reaper?
Yeah.
I mean, it's beyond how cheap it is. I don't know, man. Like it's a learning curve to get in a little bit, but once you're in there and you've got it working like you want, nothing beats Reaper for me. So I really like that. I recommend that to basically anybody getting started because it's free to use if you can't pay for it.
What about
What else?
plugin wise?
I don't know. I really liked Gulfoss by Sound Theory. Have you
Never
tried
heard of that
yet?
before.
It's I don't know all the specs, but basically it's an auto equalizer that is doing, it has its own curve, so it's going to have its own sound, so you don't want to be too heavy-handed with it, but it listens to whatever's coming in and makes like, I don't know, 10,000 adjustments a second across 1,400 bands or something. So it's basically just trying to help you add a little brightness without getting harsh, tame a little bit of the harsh stuff if you got it. So I really like Gulfoss for
Is it
machine.
Dolphaz or Golfaz?
G, as in it
Golfaz.
starts with G. I don't know.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. I like that one. I love the Fab Filter stuff. I mean, what do you use, Chris? Do you have anything?
Easy Mix, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So
Dude, well, great job.
It sounds
man.
advanced.
Your stuff sounds great. I mean, your ears there for sure. I just tweak. I mean, that's my problem. I love tweaking.
yeah, me too, man. It takes forever with me, man.
Yeah.
So y'all played a couple shows. I saw flyers for at least 3 of them, but then the third one obviously got canceled. Like, how many of y'all
Yeah, man.
been playing?
That's basically it. Yeah.
Under the name Auteur, we played, I don't know, 3 or 4 shows.
Okay.
And
Well,
had a couple on the books coming up.
Yeah.
What was your
But,
best show so
in
far?
I mean,
Boy.
that one with the last one we had, right, with Traditions.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
was
That
a
was
really fun
sick.
show.
That-
It was a lot of fun.
Where was that again? It was in this shitty bar. And then see, it's like all the best shows are in those shitty bars.
Well, then
then
that's
the
why I
cops
love
came.
That show, yeah.
Well, the
That
cops
show
came and then we
ruled,
kept
man.
playing, dude. Yeah, that shit was awesome.
That show made me feel truly like I was 16 again because it was like I think Tony brought the PA.
Yep. We brought our own
yeah.
PA.
The stage was just like whatever
It-
those
dude,
pellets are.
You could almost fall. It was like rotted out wood.
It
The
was
stage was
great.
fucking
Jesus
awful.
Christ.
So good.
And
Why
I
are we
bet
all
you,
playing
Max, you
here
could-
if there's like no PA and like no stage?
Because there was
Well,
a
fuck it,
ton of
man,
people and
hardcore,
super
bro.
Fun.
Dude,
It was
well,
awesome.
that's the thing is like
It's local.
everything else about it though. All the other bands were really good.
Yeah,
Like,
the bands were
ev-
fucking good.
and
And like, there's an actual fucking pit, and you don't get that in LA. Everybody's too fucking stoned. Like, no one fucking moshes in LA.
They bump into in LA. They just bump into
Yeah, there's none of the,
Oh, boy.
you You don't get that
I
here.
mean,
Unless
One
your
of the side
godmother or
effects of
something.
legalizing weed, man.
Yeah, the mosh pits go away.
but I mean, it was fun because it just felt like I mean, it was DIY as hell, and that was great. I imagine, yeah, if we had kept going, if
Well, the
pandemic
meth show
hadn't
is
happened, we'd have
probably going
that
to
we
be great.
that meth. Oh man, so that meth show, we were in the first day of filming the old house video here in LA, the LA portion, and it was like, you feel great. You're like, we're doing stuff for our band. It looks great. We're having fun. Our friend Adam was helping us out with it, so it was just like a hangout day. And then we get a
You got the
message
call,
from
yeah.
TJ, our guitarist, that, oh hey, we're going to be on this meth show. We're going to support for this meth show. It was like the greatest day ever. And then it was maybe 2 weeks later. So yeah, just like
Yeah.
so.
I mean,
I mean,
every
truly,
band under the sun can say the same story, but it was heartbreaking. We were so
Yeah.
excited for it.
So we're, hopefully when everything gets back to it, we can have
Yeah,
more
we have every intention
fun
of
show stories,
getting back
but
out there and fucking slamming down.
hopefully.
Kind of seems like it'll be relatively soon too,
I
judging
think
by
so.
how everything's going.
Maybe not in LA, but everywhere else.
Hope those vaccines keep rolling out.
So,
yeah.
what was the worst show that you guys have played?
I mean, that probably just the first show, at least for me. We had so many technical difficulties. Like, my guitar, like, string broke half a measure in. Basically, I knew it was going to. I mean, it's like it has an Evertune. It's supposed to be like, hey, this is your rock solid guitar, and it just immediately crapped out. So I grabbed the backup or whatever while Scott vamped, and then I believe the other big thing that show was that Scott, we had plugged Tony's amp into the same power switch
Yeah.
that you had for the lights. So every time Scott was
I
doing
was-
the DIY lights thing, turning them on. and
Well,
off,
so I had this brilliant idea
Forgot about
that I was going to make my own DIY light kit, right? And so I had these like shitty lights, and they were all hooked into these like pedals. Like I got these push pedals. It was for Christmas trees, right? So you can turn your lights on and off with Christmas trees. So I had these like pedals, and I would step on them and turn the lights on with the music, right? Well, the
How
only
fast do you have to
problem
move your feet for that? That's crazy.
Oh, he's
Well,
not.
You're over there like tap dancing.
Well,
and
there was
stuff?
like a. You should see me,
He had
bro.
a
You
strobe.
should see me, bro. They call me Crazy Legs, dude. So they.
It's true.
But then, so Tony didn't. Bless his heart, he plugged right into my lights.
I think
and so
I
every
plugged him
time,
in.
or
I don't
whoever, but whenever I pressed one of the lights, his bass cut out. And so, if you look at the recording, I have it. Like I'm going
Oh, you do?
crazy everywhere, and then Tony's just like looking around, and then it turns on again, and he's like,
Yeah.
and then it
At a
turns
certain
off.
point,
He's like, what the fuck?
at a
Keep
point,
playing,
he just
bro.
came
Just keep
over to me,
playing.
yeah.
I was like, all right, we need to unplug that.
I think we figured that out like 3 songs in, but
Yeah,
it was very
yeah.
confusing.
It was very confusing.
Very confusing.
We were having a great time though.
So y'all have like a big stage setup then, like all kinds of lights and
Not-
stuff, or
No, it's literally, what was it? 2 painter's
Painter's
lights,
lights?
and 1 strobe.
We're
I mean,
DIY, bro.
But
Yeah,
it
we
looks
would-
awesome though. Like it really.
It did look pretty
created
cool.
that-
I mean,
that-
the
that
idea
vibe.
is there. We can hone it. Like maybe we'll do other versions of it. We'll figure something out. But it was definitely in the testing phase. We were testing it out.
yeah, it's those little touches though that make all the difference. You know what I mean?
I
Sure.
agree. I mean, I still, like, forever, I've told Scott about it multiple times. When I went to see Young Widows, one time in Louisville, they have these crazy Emperor 4x12 vertical 4x12s, and like the first one is all speakers, the next one is all lights. So you have like 6 of them. So you have these 3 huge cabinets full of lights, and that's it for the whole show. So every time they wanted to, they just step on a pedal and backlight themselves, and it just blows your eyes out, and then they turn everything off. And it's just like so simple but so effective, and it stuck with me. I mean, I think we'd love to get like some proper
Sure.
lights, maybe do something fancy or whatever. 'Cause it's always great, if you're going to see a band, there's a little extra. But
Dillinger's got kind of a crazy light show. It's like just that simple white light that just by the end you have a seizure,
blast you.
and then they light the stage on fire and the show's over.
Yep.
That's what we're working towards.
So we got a question that we ask everybody here. How do you dress your hot dogs?
Ooh.
I'm very specific about this. I
Alrighty.
need ketchup. I need mustard. I need relish. I need onions. Boom.
Dang.
Yeah, it sounds really good actually.
It's pretty well dressed.
Mm-hmm.
Any of y'all can beat
Max,
that?
Oh, I don't dress better. I mean, I think I just
Sour
I
cream,
just like
maybe,
ketchup
or
and-
sauerkraut. I
I'm
mean,
like, sour.
I meant
Sour cream would be a little weird, but okay,
Ugh.
sour
I meant
cream.
sauerkraut.
I can kind of get
I don't
it.
know though. You could do like some chili
Maybe.
cheese with some sour cream. don't get me going. I could put things together all day.
Yeah, I will say I am down. I'm down for a fancy hot dog. I will not turn away a fancy hot dog, but I also will just do ketchup and mustard. I'm happy with something plain or just mustard. I mean, I've got a mom from Chicago, so
What does that
ketchup
have to
on
do
a
with
hot dog is
anything?
ketchup on a hot dog, dude.
Yeah, they don't allow
Ketchup
that,
on
do
a
they?
hot dog in Chicago is sacrilege.
Yeah,
Oh, wow, I didn't know
they'll
that.
beat you in the street
Yeah, you will get
with the hot dog.
murdered in Chicago for putting ketchup on your hot dog.
Yeah, check the murder rates. That's why.
Oh my god.
Certain percentage is shitty hot dogs.
Just all
Ketchup
hot
on hot dogs.
Just all hot dogs.
So you guys have no merch yet? No shirts, CDs?
No, we have aspirations. It was more or less like, let's get the record out.
We have
Let's deal with the rest
aspirations.
later. Well, I mean, it's like,
Yeah, we'll
we didn't even know if anybody would like the damn record. I mean, we didn't know if there'd be any demand. If there is a demand, then we would love to fill it. So if somebody wants some merch, say it. Somebody tell us. Maybe we'll make some.
You're goofy. Yeah, we'll definitely have some merch in the near future. And then we keep talking about, as you said, things are getting better. So hopefully in the near future we can get back together and we're gonna work on shooting a music video for Walking. We want to ruin a bunch of instruments with fake rain.
With what?
But fake rain, you got to get some
Fake
water
rain,
on
yeah.
you,
Oh,
baby.
We need a
fake
rain-
rain.
we're gonna
Okay,
rain
okay.
room it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. So we're gonna keep working on promoting this record, and then, I mean, hopefully, who knows how quickly things move. If we get back in a practice space, I imagine we all want to start working on new stuff as well. So.
Sure.
Well, if y'all are like
Yeah.
playing shows and stuff, you need merch, like shirts and
Oh
things.
yeah,
you know?
I mean for sure.
Oh, yeah.
We'll
when the
have
shows
it
come
before.
back, we'll have merch for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
But we just didn't seem to have a need for it when we're only online.
Okay, yeah, that
but
makes
we'll
sense.
we'll get it up. We'll make it happen.
So, what was the last album y'all listened to?
Well, it's funny because so I looked at my Spotify because I didn't know, and it appears that the last thing that I listened to was a sea shanty from the Wellermans.
So basic.
Alrighty.
we were out surfing, and I put it on as a joke, I guess, and then so I guess that's what counts as my last thing.
Oh my goodness.
Is a sea shanty.
Max, what'd you listen to last?
The last thing I listened to was actually it's a Japanese band called Auteur. They're like an instrumental band, but their drummer is like super sick. So like I don't know, it just gets me really inspired when I want to drum like for any style. So
What was it called again?
that was it. Toe, Toe. They're from Japan. They're like an
actual
instrumental
toe.
band.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
But they're
fair
really
enough.
they're really sick band. Very very mathy as well.
Nice. Last thing on my Spotify is Modern Life is War. Witness, that record.
Throwback.
Been around
Alrighty.
forever. I love that record. I mean, I have like a playlist of just all the old stuff. So that's the last thing on my Spotify. But Max is in line with his band. I recommend Tricot. They had a record last year, Japanese. I don't know if they're all female, but female fronted. It's so good. It's very mathy, but also very
cool.
bright and fun.
What about Otoboki Beaver? You ever
What?
listen to them? That's another one. Listen to Otoboki Beaver.
Yeah, you
That's
showed me
another
them.
Japanese.
I feel like you're making that name up.
No, I'm not. No, look it up. It's actually, they're really great, actually,
Like the search results are gonna be very weird. But
Good luck. Good luck.
by design.
Let True Fabrice says that merch would be sick. There you go.
I
Sure.
agree.
There we go. There's one.
Sure.
What size are you?
What's your album of the year? Either for this year or last year, it doesn't really matter.
Skip me. I need to think about it.
I tried to think about it. Album of the year for last year.
I even warned you guys. Come on now.
I know. No,
I know.
okay.
I'm so bad at this type of thing too. I know. I don't even know what. No.
Yeah, I don't know about album of the year, but I mean, I definitely dug that Misery Signals. Like I said, that Tricot was good. It wasn't actually last year, but I got into it last year. Both Colonial Wound and Process Black. They're both projects from the vocalist for Dead Guy and Kiss It Goodbye.
Oh, you know.
And it's like, it's crazy. Like that dude's voice alone just brings me back. It's so good. So I've been listening to that quite a bit.
Fabrice says he's a medium, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, perfect.
You're right on.
Oh, I will also say you brought up the Arson Choir, and that record that EP last year was great, which also
yeah.
made me think of from 2019. Did you check out that Vile Ones record?
The what?
Vile Ones was great.
Vile
Vile ones?
with a V. Yeah.
Never heard of
It's
them.
I forget which members are which, but it's got some folks from Scarlet, and I believe vocalist from another band there.
God, I haven't heard Scarlet in forever.
Scarlet's so
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I thought of it because I feel like Arson Choir has a little bit of that Scarlet Spitfire thing going on. I personally, I love those bands. I love that just like super regimented but still mathy kind of like band as an instrument sound, just pound you. So yeah, I think that last Arson Choir. What else was good? Max, what was good?
Honestly, it's really old, but I've just been listening to Mirrors a lot from Misery Signals.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I just always go back to that. It's like I usually am like, I want to check out that like the guitar part that hasn't done the drums. I forgot what track it is. It's like instrumental, and then I started listening to that before, and now I'm just into the whole album again.
Nice. That's a chill one.
Yeah, I think the last album that the last one I can think of that I've listened to front to back multiple times was the last JPEG Mafia record. All My Heroes Are Cornballs. That was so fucking good, man.
Oh, I was talking about album of the year for last year.
Yeah.
Oh, is that your album of the year?
That's gonna be it. Yeah,
Okay,
that's my vote.
Hey, all right, sounds good. That's about all I had, unless y'all had something else y'all wanted to bring up.
No, I think that's about it. Other than once again, Chris, thank you so much.
Yeah, we really appreciate you, man, and we love talking about this, our stuff, and
obviously everyone who's watching already listens to The Sound That Ends Creation. But yeah, your record fucking killed too. How many people, when you ask that question, how many people? Does anybody say your record? Because I feel like that's not.
They have,
right?
they have, but yeah, I mean, I'm not like trying to make them. Right,
No, I'm saying like, I feel like I'd be sucking up to you if I said it, but it really is a killer record.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, so, we've enjoyed our time on the show, man, and hopefully we can do this again in the future.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And if there's any bands that want to set up shows or reach out or anything.
Yeah, if anybody likes what we sound like and want to play, let's do it after the pandemic. Let's play.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for that itch, if you're looking for something that'll scratch that itch that the Chariot left behind, check out Before and After by Auteur. You guys are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Bandcamp, as well as all the streaming platforms. You also got a YouTube channel. Are there any other social plugs?
If you just go to auteur.band, auteur.band, that's got everything there as well.
Oh, is that like a link tree or something?
It's all there in one.
Basically,
Oh, okay. I saw that around, but I was like, what the hell is auteur.band go to? Like, is that like your Instagram handle or something? Okay.
No,
okay, I got you.
Everything you've already seen, yeah.
Okay. As for me, drop my channel, follow so you always know when I go live. You can also sub to get access to some exclusive emotes, as well as access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and social and streaming services. I am messing this one up too. Before they hit the streaming services and YouTube. You could also get a free sub by linking your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube folks, if you like the video, please drop a like, tickle the notification bell. Don't forget to subscribe. It's a great way to support me for free. Check out my music, The Sound That Ends Creation, at thesoundthatendscreation.bandcamp.com. My next guest is the UK-based mathcore band who's dropping a debut full length this Friday, Pupil Slicer. Join us this Sunday, the 14th at 12 p.m. Central. That's 12 p.m. Central, right here at twitch.tv/thecastthatinscreation for the live cast. Thanks for being here, guys. Hope you had a good time.
Appreciate it, man.
It was great.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris.
And thank you guys for watching and listening.